For many years, Fonzworth Bentley was one of the most recognizable faces in hip-hop culture, not for his lyrics or music, but for his signature look, his ever-present bow ties, and most notably, the umbrella he carried as he followed Sean Diddy Combs everywhere. To some, he was a loyal assistant, to others, a symbol of blind servitude. But now Bentley's name has resurfaced in a very different context, one surrounded by lawsuits, allegations of abuse, and the unraveling legacy of Diddy himself. What once appeared to be a tale of showbiz loyalty has morphed into something far darker. The question now looms: was Fonzworth Bentley a bystander, a victim, or a participant in Diddy's increasingly sinister empire, a flashy introduction in the shadows of courtrooms? Fonzworth Bentley, born Derek Watkins, met Diddy in 1999 during one of the mogul's most turbulent years. At the time, Diddy, then still going by Puff Daddy, was embroiled in a criminal trial related to a nightclub shooting. According to Bentley, their first interaction was cinematic, a quiet stare-down in a restaurant that ended with Diddy pointing to him and requesting his two-way pager number. Bentley, then managing a restaurant, would later reach out to Diddy again, writing, "Please don't make me go back to my hater boss." Soon after, he was brought into Diddy's inner circle, not just as a personal assistant, but as a valet, confidant, and constant companion. By 2003, Bentley had become a cultural fixture, known for his appearances beside Diddy at red carpets, music videos, and events. He stood out, polished, articulate, and refined. But what looked like prestige may have masked deeper troubles, from accessory to alleged accomplice. For years, Bentley was seen as harmless, an eccentric sidekick. However, recent lawsuits have changed that perception. In particular, a civil lawsuit filed by Randy Pittman made headlines for naming Bentley alongside Diddy in disturbing allegations of sexual abuse involving minors. According to the suit, Pittman, working with a local talent agency, was approached by Bentley under the pretense of collaborating on fashion projects linked to Diddy's Sean John brand. Pittman claims Bentley invited him and two underage girls aged 13 and 14 to what was marketed as an entertainment event. Once there, he alleges they were given drugs and alcohol and subjected to non-consensual sexual acts orchestrated by Diddy, with Bentley allegedly playing a facilitative role. This is a seismic shift from Bentley's previously assumed role. If these allegations are true, they reframe him not as an accessory in Diddy's world, but as an enabler, or worse, a participant in its darkest corners. The assistant's life, loyalty, or servitude? Former assistants of Diddy have recently come forward to describe the harrowing reality behind the glitz and glam. Testimonies from multiple former personal assistants, including Capricorn Clark and David James, have painted a picture of psychological torment, abuse of power, and dangerously blurred professional lines. Working for Diddy, according to them, meant micromanagement down to the arrangement of his toiletries and food. The work week stretched past 100 hours, and the reward was often verbal abuse, fear, and low pay. But on the worst days, the job meant compliance with deeply unethical and sometimes illegal behavior. David James described driving Diddy to an altercation involving firearms with Sue Goodnight. Capricorn Clark recalled a traumatic trip in 2011 when she was allegedly forced to accompany Diddy to Kid Cudi's residence. She later hinted on social media that year, and particularly her time working under Diddy, was hell. The disappearance and the rumors. As allegations against Diddy grew more frequent and disturbing, Fonzworth Bentley faded from public view. He had begun carving out a respectable creative career for himself in the early 2000s, appearing in music videos for Kanye West, contributing to Outkast projects, and even receiving songwriting credits on Kanye's Yeezus album. He also played small roles in films like Fat Albert and Think Like a Man Too. Then, abruptly, he stepped back. He married, had children, and moved to Atlanta, presenting a calm domestic image far removed from the chaotic, high-speed life he once led. Yet, even in his silence, he remained a point of fascination. Some assumed he had distanced himself from Diddy's world because he had outgrown it. Others speculated that he knew too much, or had been involved in too much, and was deliberately lying low. Hints of the truth after singer Cassie Ventura filed her explosive lawsuit detailing years of abuse at the hands of Diddy, including sex trafficking, physical assault, and psychological torment. The dam broke. Lawsuits poured in, and former insiders began speaking up. In the wake of Cassie's revelations, Bentley posted a cryptic quote from Jay-Z's Grammy acceptance speech. "When I get nervous, I tell the truth." He captioned it, "Might delete later, but I'ma just sit this here." That single post ignited speculation. Was Bentley preparing to testify? Was he negotiating immunity? Or was he dropping breadcrumbs for those paying attention? Those who worked closely with Diddy seem to believe Bentley has more to say. In fact, some suggest prosecutors are saving him for last, believing that his testimony could be the final nail in Diddy's legal coffin. A pattern of abuse and the role of the assistants. Cassie's lawsuit detailed Diddy's so-called freak-offs, sexual parties reportedly featuring drugs, costumes, and coercion. She claimed Diddy's assistants were essential to setting these events up, booking hotel rooms, supplying substances, and preparing the spaces with lighting, baby oil, and themed decor. This paints a stark image. Diddy's assistants weren't just bystanders. They were allegedly forced to facilitate these scenarios under pressure from the man they worked for, and in many cases, feared. Capricorn Clark, another former assistant, alleged that Diddy once physically assaulted her for not warning him that Cassie had fled to see Kid Cudi. She later posted biblical references on social media, urging others to stay away from the path of the wicked. Her posts hinted at trauma and deep regret. She also spoke out after Kim Porter's death, suggesting foul play and defending Kim as the only person who never betrayed her. In one emotional post, she wrote, "They will skin you and wear you, baby girl, then pretend they never wanted the skin. Kim was the only person who didn't switch up. I'm personally very triggered. I pray it's over." Was Bentley just another victim? Despite the damning allegations, there's still debate over whether Bentley was another manipulated figure in Diddy's orbit. Some argue he was brought into a toxic environment where he had little power and learned to survive by obeying. Bentley, after all, was raised in a humble environment in Atlanta. He was known for his manners, his intelligence, and his religious convictions. Early interviews suggest he viewed his role as a stepping stone, not as a lifestyle. But at what point does survival turn into complicity? If he had knowledge of abuse and remained silent, that's morally and potentially legally damning. If he actively enabled or participated in abuse, as some lawsuits allege, then he may soon face charges alongside his former boss. What comes next? Public fascination with the Diddy scandal shows no signs of slowing. Each new lawsuit, testimony, and leaked story adds to the narrative of a man who built an empire, not just on talent and hustle, but on control, fear, and alleged abuse. All eyes are now on Fonzworth Bentley. Will he testify publicly? Will he confirm what many already believe, that Diddy's abuse was far-reaching and long-running? Or will he be indicted as an accomplice? Only time will tell. Final thoughts. Farnsworth Bentley's story is no longer just about an umbrella. It's about power, proximity, and silence. Whether he turns out to be a witness or a defendant, one thing is clear. His time in Diddy's world changed him forever, and perhaps now, he holds the truth that could change everything for Diddy.